freedom I will soar through the storm and evermore. I hear the thunder, feel the fire. My soul's alive, my heart's desire to fly, to dream, to rise and scream. I am free.
Julius and Ethel Rosenberg were an American married couple who were convicted of spying for the Soviet Union. Their charges included providing top-secret information about American radar, sonar, jet propulsion, and nuclear weapon designs. Convicted of espionage in 1951, they were executed by the federal government of the U.S. in 1953 using New York's state execution chamber in Sing Sing prison, becoming the first American civilians to be executed for such charges and the first to be executed during peacetime. Judge Kaufman presided over the Rosenbergs' trial. In the summation at the end of the trial, their attorney declared, "Your Honor, what my clients asked for is justice." The judge replied, "The court has given you what you have asked for, justice. What you really want is mercy, but that is something this court has no right to give." Greetings, patriots. I'm Perry Green, and this is God in America. Truth has a way of coming out. The traitorous Americans who've been attacking Donald Trump and conservatives with "no one is above the law" are finding out that that statement is true. On Friday, July the 18th, 2025, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard revealed overwhelming evidence that after President Trump won the 2016 election against Hillary Clinton, President Obama and his national security cabinet members manufactured and politicized intelligence to lay the groundwork for what was essentially a year-long coup to undermine the rightfully elected president, Donald J. Trump. Numerous biblical and extra-biblical examples of this same irony come to mind. People think they've escaped justice only to be exposed by a sudden twist of fate, and genuine justice is served. Haman was the antagonist in the book of Esther. He served the Persian king Ahasuerus and hated the Jews. Intent on annihilating them, he built a gallows for his nemesis, Mordecai. As the story unfolds, Haman is forced to honor the Jewish man and is finally hanged on his own gallows. Joseph's brothers thought they had pulled a fast one on their father Jacob. They sold the young man Joseph into slavery and told their father they had found Joseph's special coat covered in his blood. They'd killed an animal and gave the pretense to him. Too bad they didn't have access to DNA testing. Well, they believed they had successfully gotten rid of Daddy's favorite son and that Jacob would never know. Fast forward to the end of the story. Joseph had gone from enslavement to imprisonment and by the power of God to the palace. He was the governor of Egypt with only the Pharaoh above him. His family came for grain during the famine and Joseph provided a prosperous place for them to live. He revealed himself to his family, exposing their actions. Unlike a judicial court, he granted mercy to his malevolent brothers. David was the greatest king in Israel's history. In a moment of weakness, this man after God's own heart impregnated Bathsheba. He tried to hide their sinful action to the point that he had her husband Uriah killed in battle. Thinking he had covered his trail, he married his friend's wife. However, God exposed him through Nathan and his parable of the ewe lamb. Nathan declared, "Thou art the man." David repented, but not without consequences. As Numbers 32 verse 23 declares, "Be sure your sin will find you out." In American history, we have the sad story of Benedict Arnold. He'd been a patriot and hero at Fort Ticonderoga and Saratoga. However, his impatient ambition and thirst for wealth got the better of him, and he made a deal with the British to sell West Point to them and betray George Washington. Providentially, the plan was exposed. Some of the players were executed, but Arnold got away to serve the English. Americans could only find justice in the fact that the British could not trust a man who would betray his country and never accepted him. In addition, he died in relative obscurity and poverty in England. Justice was served after many years. I hope justice will prevail against the traitorous conspirators who've been working to bring down our nation. Tulsi Gabbard has affirmed what many of us suspected, but will this government follow through? While many believe the Obama and Biden administrations have been the most corrupt in U.S. history, if Trump does not pursue justice, we can legitimately say his administration is just as crooked, if not more so. Not to act is to act, not to speak is to speak, and we want justice. Concerning this turn of events, Americans owe Richard Nixon an apology. His crime was peanuts compared to what the evidence says Obama, Biden, Clinton, and their ilk have done. They are as traitorous as the Rosenbergs. No one is above the law has been the mantra of those who have been violating the law and undermining our republic. Let's see if it plays out or if the elites have a get out of jail free card. Justice must be served. God can be gracious, but the courts demand fairness. Thomas McKean signed the Declaration of Independence, led the Continental Congress, and served as Chief Justice of Pennsylvania's Supreme Court, among other things. In 1778, John Roberts was sentenced to death after a jury found him guilty of treason. Before justice was served, Chief Justice McKean offered Roberts God's mercy and told him, "You will probably have but a short time to live. Before you launch into eternity, it behooves you to improve the time that may be allowed you in this world. It behooves you most seriously to reflect upon your past conduct, to repent of your evil deeds, to be incessant in prayers to the great and merciful God, to forgive your manifold transgressions and sins, to teach you to rely upon the merit and passion of a dear Redeemer, and thereby to avoid those regions of sorrow, those doleful shades where peace and rest can never dwell, where even hope cannot enter. It behooves you to seek the fellowship, advice, and prayers of pious and good men, to be persistent at the throne of grace, and to learn the way that leadeth to happiness. May you, reflecting upon these things and pursuing the will of the great Father of light and life, be received into the company and society of angels and archangels and the spirits of just men made perfect. And may you be qualified to enter into the joys of heaven, joys unspeakable and full of glory." Well, thanks for being with us today. If you'd like to support our God in America ministry, please go to our website and use our PayPal link or send a check to our mailing address. Until next time, let's keep the light of justice for all burning.
My soul's alive, my heart's desire to fly, to dream, to rise and scream.